Hey, welcome back to our channel. What your mom forgot to tell you. I am Sunshine,
And I am Joy.
and we are going to talk about will they ever change?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever they are, will they ever change? I know I've said that to myself before.
Right.
Have you?
A couple of times.
Will they ever
Ever change,
change?
yeah.
Whether it be your spouse, your
Mm-hmm.
children, that boss, your teacher, your friends,
I just said about my dog.
the
I'm
dog,
like, will
the
she
cat,
change?
the
Yeah.
gerbil,
Yes.
the ants in the house. Not
Right.
ants as in
Yeah.
relatives, but little bitty crawling ants.
Yeah.
Anything, will they ever change?
Yes.
Your
Yes.
family, your ex husband, your ex
Mm-hmm.
wife, will they ever change?
Yeah. And the change, I mean, it could be anything. It could be as serious as if your spouse is cheating. It could be as little as would they take out the garbage, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to decide when we're in these situations what we would accept and what we can't accept from people. And then
Yeah,
at that time, you have to make a choice for yourself or what you're going to do.
right. You gotta ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
what am you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to put up with? And we're definitely not promoting running away from
Mm-hmm.
anything. But if you're wanting somebody to change or wanting to change their behavior, their attitude, there might be a little time limit in your head. Like, am I gonna wait for a
Mm-hmm.
week or a day, a year? How long was this wait gonna be, Lord?
Mm-hmm.
Because I need them to change yesterday.
Right.
So,
And we have to also think about what we asking them to change about, where our expectations are, and what we want people to change about. If it's
that's
something
good.
that you met them and they did that, and is that's their personality, unfortunately, they may not change. And you might have to accept that, like you accepted it when you was with them. I know our kids; they have different personalities.
Yeah.
I know we can mold our kids, but sometimes something is so deep in their personality, it's hard for us to change that. And we have to love them despite of.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It ain't just your husband or wife, children. Will they ever change?
Yeah.
Your child is not really focusing at school, getting into
Mm-hmm.
trouble. And we're not trying to say something negative in this show,
Mm-hmm.
but that's something that we all think about sometimes. There's someone in your life you want change in. So your
Yeah.
child is not learning as fast as you want them to,
Right.
or not behaving, and you're wondering,
Mm-hmm.
will they ever change?
Yes.
And I'm here to tell you, they can change. I really believe they can
Mm-hmm.
change. I have children, and I remember when my youngest, well, not my
Mm-hmm.
youngest, at the time he was my youngest.
You don't forget how many?
Right. After my second child, he was the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, not to go, I don't, maybe I need to get more deep, I don't know. But difficulty with learning at a very, 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 very,
Mm-hmm.
very young age. And I had to ask myself, will this be like this for the rest of
Mm-hmm.
his life? Will there always be challenges? And we're talking about minor things.
Mm-hmm.
Things just weren't as fast, you
Yeah.
know. But that's okay. That if your child is not learning like somebody else, don't compare your children to anybody else. But I asked myself, will it ever change?
Mm-hmm.
And it did happen. It did change.
Yeah.
And he got older. Things got easier. And now he's almost, well, he is grown. He's 20. But he
Yeah.
is completely different from when he was a very, very young child. He did change. The light bulbs just come off at different times. And we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about minor, nothing major that I'm talking about as far as um, what needed to change. just as a parent, when you see your child struggling in school when they're really little,
Mhm.
will they ever change? And it did change.
But I'm sure with you recognizing that you said I have to have patience.
Sure did.
When you want your children, now children are different than adults. When you want your child to change, because we can't mold them, we have to put a plan in place,
Yeah.
stick to that plan, and then make sure we follow through with that, and make sure that change can happen. Equip them with the right tools so that change can happen. But when we're talking about adults, it's a little different.
Oh, that's a good thing you said, tools. So talk about adults in marriage. Get some tools.
Yeah.
Will they ever change? So maybe you guys need counseling, or you need to be around other couples that are successful in their marriage. And maybe your spouse, whether your husband or wife, they'll see the other successful marriages and will want to adapt that way.
Right.
Adapt to that way.
So the change, the key to asking yourself, will they ever change? And when it's something that they're doing that's harmful to themselves, harmful to you, that's where prayer come in. We have to pray and say, I want them to eat better. I want them to stop drinking so much. I want them to stop smoking. I pray for them as we take a sip.
It's a serious conversation.
Right. I want them to, if you want better for them, that's where prayer comes in. Because guess what? We can say to them all we want to, but until they are committed, we can nag, we can complain, but until they are committed to making a better life for themselves, we just have to pray. Say, God, show them the way, and show them the right way. What's good for them. We just have to stay committed in prayer to make sure that they see that the errors of their ways, as we could say. And hopefully they will catch on sooner than later.
Right, because you know what? We cannot change anyone. That's the bottom line, too,
Right.
we're getting at.
Right.
We cannot change anyone. That's why we're asking, or we sometimes ask, will they ever change? Because if we decided, it would have been last year, 5 years ago.
Last night.
Right. Or whatever. And we sitting here like, dang, when are they going to change? Because you cannot change them. So praying is what we ought to do.
Right.
In any scenario. Pray. And it still may not happen. Because some people choose not to listen to what God might be telling them, or even listening to how it's hurting you.
Yeah.
But we definitely can't make them change at all.
And then if it doesn't change, we do have to touch on that. If it doesn't change and it is not good for you, we always say this in our shows. We have said it before. Sometimes you do have to remove yourself from the situation. You have to probably, and it might not be forever. A lot of people, they remove themselves. The person see what they were not doing right, and then say, "Hey, I hear her now. I hear him now." That they are gone from that situation, and then they change, and then you can come back when they're better. But you do have to make that choice.
When it's serious things.
Right, serious things. Like, the cheating or just being...
or narcotics, maybe.
Or mental abuse, towards you. That verbal abuse is... People can't function. You can't function when somebody is being verbally abusive towards you. So we need to really evaluate the situation for ourselves. We do want to save that other person. We always want to save the person that we love. But you got to save yourself first. And then,
right.
Hopefully that person, you can throw a lifeline back to them and they can save them, save themselves too.
Right. So also too, will they ever change? Your boss, will they ever change? Will they ever consider that I had to pick up my child from school earlier, had to take my child, to a doctor's appointment.
Right.
Will they ever change and be a little bit more compassionate? And you got to pray about that too.
Yeah.
Pray about it, and it may not change. You might end up with another position. It might not be the one for you.
Right.
It might not fit how your family dynamic is.
The workplace is really sometimes can be stressful for you, and wanting people to change because really they don't have that connection to you to where they're saying that you are detrimental to their situation. So the compassion is not there. We can say we have friends at work, but really you at work, and when you at work, it's just a different situation than when you at home. So, you have to have faith in God that if you have to remove yourself from that situation, that God will take care of you. Because just like you said, they may not change because you are not that important to them for them to change. Our loved ones, they might be a little bit more easy to change because they love us enough. But at work, please don't expect somebody to change just because you stayed a little later, just because you came in a little earlier, just because you did that extra project for them. No, we expect too much. And when we expect too much, guess what? That's why we get hurt so much.
Right. Let down. All the way down.
Yeah. Accept people for where they're at and what they show you. And then guess what? You would never get hurt by them people that don't matter because you accepted them for where they at. I accept that he has no compassion. So guess what? I'm going to move on.
Move on. So will they ever change? I will say, now we have times where those that are dating, you ask yourself, will they ever change? Will this person ever commit to me? Will I ever find the right person? Or the people that you're dating or have dated, will they ever change and choose you? Will they ever...
Will you ever get that ring?
Will you ever get that ring?
Right.
Or for the men, will I ever find that right one who will understand me as a man, respect me as a man? Will these women ever change? I'm running into the women that don't respect me and aren't being real with me. They so fake. Will they ever change? And again, the women, they're not committing to me. They're not respecting me as a woman. Will they ever change?
So what do you continue on? Do you continue on in that relationship, or do you recognize the red flags early enough to say, listen, this is not for me. They may not change the way I want them to be, and that could be them. Just because you start dating someone, don't mean that person is for you. You have to say, is this the person that I want to spend my life with? Or is this just the person that I want to just spend some time and have fun? If it's just fun and you just going out, just having dinner, things like that, fine. But if you want a committed relationship and that person is giving you so many red flags at the beginning, it's best to make that decision early. Because you're going to get into it down the line and you're going to have regrets. And what do we say about regrets? We do not want regrets.
We don't want them.
We don't want regrets. So, try to really recognize them red flags. If the person is not willing to change, then you have to make that decision whether or not you want to continue on.
You got to make that decision.
Yeah.
Because in those early relationships, they're going to give you some signs, like you said. The red flags are there. And in some cases, people will change. They will get to know you and realize what you're going to put up with and what you won't put up with. The person they knew before you, they put up with a man who wouldn't commit. Or that man put up with a woman that just yelled at him all the time or didn't respect him. So if you're willing to pay attention to a lot of the things that they're showing you, and you stay true to yourself and what you want, your standards and your values, your morals, your reasonable, of course, realistic expectations, the person may change and say, wow, I want you bad enough. I'm going to change.
Right.
I am going to respect. I'm going to commit to you. I'm going to marry you. I'm going to take away all my childish ways. I am ready to change.
Right.
So in some cases, with being, single and dating, some people will change, but understand some people may not, and you may want to get out as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah. And the last thing I really want to say is, when you're with somebody, you don't want somebody that changes for you. You want somebody to changes because of you. It is a huge difference. It's a huge difference.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
The difference is that if they change because of you, you have inspired them to do better. When somebody change for you, a lot of times, we just changing for you, but they ain't doing it for themselves. We want somebody to do it for themselves. And because that you inspired them and showed them a better way, they said, I'm going to do this for myself and I'm going to change. So that's the big difference. And a lot of times when it comes out, we'll say, well, you'll do it for me. You don't want to say that. You want to do it because of me. Because I inspired you, because I showed you something different.
Yeah, you don't want nobody. Go ahead, finish.
No, I just wanted to say, you just want them to do it for themselves. That's all.
Right, and you don't want nobody to resent you. So somebody's like, I'm changing because you telling me to change. They're gonna end up resenting you in the end. You know, I decided to do this because you told me to, and I never wanted to do it in the first place, and therefore our relationship is not going to work out, and I prefer to be happy with somebody else. They changed for the wrong reason.
She feeling that one. She done gave you the head toss. Oh my goodness.
I had to get in role play.
Right. I'm looking at how that head is rolling.
I was trying to just sound like somebody who
right.
was, yeah.
Right.
Because I don't even do that.
Right. I'm like, whoa. But yeah, definitely. So we just wanted to, come on here and just touch on that. And we want you to not be hurt so many times and time again. And that is the reason why we brought this subject up. Watch your expectations, know when to get out.
Right. Yes.
Watch your expectations and know when to get out.
And know when to stay. So will they ever change? Yeah. And to sum it all up, they may not.
Yeah.
In some relationships or situations, you will stay because it's not detrimental to you. And with prayer, it may just change, or you will be able to deal with it while still staying. Like you say, taking out the trash, really you can deal with that. The house may smell a little bit, but you can deal with the fact that your mate is not taking out the trash, or your wife doesn't do the dishes on a regular basis, or doesn't cook every day, or whatever. And then if you have the situations where they will, I done lost my train of thought. There are situations where they may change. In those situations, you probably prayed about it, and hopefully they changed because they wanted to.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say this. I hope we fed your soul today and gave you another tool to make your day the best day ever.
Yes.
Because that's what our goal is, to help you make each day the best day ever. And I am Joy.
And I am Sunshine.
And hopefully you'll have a great night and a better tomorrow. Thank you for watching What Your Mama Forgot to Tell You. Please like, share, and subscribe so you can get notification on the next great video that we do. Okay? Bye.